Welcome to my studio. My name is Shauna and I teach people how to see. I teach drawing, I teach watercolor, pastel, and oil painting. But most of all, I teach you how to see the world in a way that allows you to become a better artist. I find myself in my studio now with extra time, so I would like to use this time to accomplish something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I would like to share some demonstrations and discussions about how to see more accurately and then transfer that awareness to your own artwork. This is a new endeavor for me, so I'll be learning a little bit as I go. However, with 40 years of teaching experience, I know from my students that I can convey skills and techniques that, number one, will save you time on your journey towards artistic excellence, and number two, will help you become a more confident, efficient, and successful artist. Be sure to press like if you enjoy my presentations, and of course, if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And I thank you. Hi, this project is meant to help anybody become a better draftsman. When you can see negative shapes and not the positive, you can have a much better understanding of what is actually going on. And instead of relying on what your brain expects or what your brain knows, you're able to see what actually is by seeing shapes that have no expectation or no intention, but only the actual direction and size and shape and proportion that you're seeing in front of you. The wonderful thing about this is that it actually owns the perspective inside of the shape. So if you can get the shape right, you've got the chair completely done. I recommend that you start in the center, and so here we go. I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration of how to handle this one. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start with a measurement. How wide is it? How tall is it? How many times taller is it than it is wide? I've got it about twice as tall as it is wide from my point of view. While I'm doing this, you should be looking at the photo reference, which is more from my point of view. What you're seeing in front of me here is a little bit angled. I'm going to always start with the first angle and distance in the center. If I do around the outside, which seems like the most obvious thing to do, it sets an outline in stone, and it seems like you're required to keep everything inside of that outline. And it's almost always wrong. So if I work from the middle, seeing only air and angles and distance, that's going to give me the same edge. This is a good example where the actual photo shows a bigger space than you're seeing here with the actual chair in front of me. Only air. When I see something solid, I go around it. Surprisingly, the smaller the shape, the easier the shape is to render. The more shapes, the easier it is to render. That is counterintuitive, but nonetheless. Now I've got a really big diamond shape in the middle. And it's closer to the photograph, but it's still, I'm making it too fat. And watching this to do a voiceover, it's obvious, every mistake I make. And so I'm kind of relating to what my students think as they see me make an error and they're saying, wait a minute, that's wrong. But isn't it interesting that just looking at a shape, comparing it to the shape in front of you instead of thinking chair, it's so easy to see whether it's incorrect or right on. Especially as an observer. I've definitely speeded this up. I am much slower than this as I draw and evaluate. But every shape I'm doing, every one, is evaluated on its own, not according to what the area before, not according to the edge that it's supposed to match up with. Every shape is independent. Later, when I find that there's an incongruity, I can correct one or the other. But I don't know which one's wrong until I make them both. Then I see, where do I need to adjust? Now I'm going ahead and doing the outside angle that would be tempting to do it at first, but we have no idea what that angle is until we do the inside angles. Also, I've noticed from people doing this without negative shape instruction that the little change in the width of that front pole or leg changes, and if you just do it looking at the chair, most people don't notice that little change. It has a little angle and a curve just before it goes to the bottom of the seat. Whenever I do this exercise, I put it up above so it's an unusual point of view. We barely see the seat at all. It's just a thin shape that we leave open. Usually, your brain expects all chairs to be seen from above. Notice that I fill my shapes out all the way to a box or a rectangle so that I'm not just doing a fat halo around the outside. That is read by our expectation as a fat line, just a big old outline. So I don't want that to be seen as an outline. I want to see this as a shape on the outside, a negative shape against a positive shape. This is much longer in the photograph than it is in front of me here. But I am noticing as I do this that I am incorrect with the upright on the right side of the back of the chair. That upright should be vertical above the angle of the back leg as it hits the back of the chair. But now I'm coming around from the other side, so I'll often do this. I'll do from one side, come around, go from the other side. Again, if I don't have a match, if it doesn't fit, then one of them is wrong. So I can adjust and figure out which one it is. In this case, I see that both of the back chair uprights are pretty much horizontal. That should not be. It's above me. They should be angled down quite a bit, so that's another mistake I'm seeing as I do my voiceover. Which reminds me of a quote that all artwork, all paintings, all drawings are a series of corrections. That sounds about right, right? So I'm just cleaning up a little bit. And I hope that you will take this on and give it a try. I'm going to post another photo of another drawing I did preparing for this, and you'll notice that some of the legs don't line up, but usually, unless I tell people that that is the case, they don't even notice. Thank you.